this is something that I've been wanting to bring up on the pod for a little bit. You and I talked about it a little bit offline, but the idea of Cade Cunningham winning Most Improved Player of the Year is absolutely blasphemous. This dude is having an insane year. Do not get me wrong. He was the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Not only was he the number 1 overall pick in the draft, he was head and shoulders the number 1 player in his high school class, 5-star recruit. Like, he was supposed to be everything that he has turned into. How can you be Most Improved Player, even if you've made the jump, and even if the Pistons have gone from being the laughingstock of the league last year, losing 28 straight games, to a certified playoff team this year? How can you be the number 1, or how can you be the Most Improved Player of the Year if you were the number 1 overall pick? And I say that to say that my shout out, in a way, goes to someone like Christian Brown, who I think has been absolutely insane this year.
He has been
balled
great.
out against the Seas on Sunday. He's a huge reason why the Nuggets were comfortable letting KCP walk, and that ended up being a pretty smart decision. He's having a tough season in Orlando, and Christian Brown has been a huge reason why the Nuggets have been able to maintain their level of success. Norm Powell is someone who he's going to be brushing right up against that 65-game minimum now that he is out with a hamstring injury after missing a lot of time with a knee injury. But he took, I think it was like a 12-point jump in points per game. Like, he's someone who would be an awesome Most Improved Player. At 30, exactly. At 31, this guy was, for the first time in his career, in All-Star discussions. Like, to me, he would have been an awesome Most Improved Player of the Year. I just don't understand how, and I know that things kind of went off the rails when Ja won Most Improved as a number 2 overall pick, but like, at what point does that award go back to being guys who were not supposed to be very good and then turned into like all-star caliber players like Giannis, like Jimmy Butler, like Pascal Siakam? Like, those are the cool stories. That's like, hell yeah, that guy is the Most Improved Player. He was not supposed to be anybody. He was a late first-round pick. He was a second-round pick, like wherever you fell. And now he's one of the best players in the NBA. Going from being a stud middle schooler to a stud high school player to a stud college player to the number 1 overall pick to Most Improved just does not sit right with me. Doesn't sit right with me.
We got to get back. The spirit of the award has been lost. I said the exact same thing. You and me are in lockstep, and we talked about it a little bit. We haven't really talked about it. We are on the same page with this. I did a Sports Grid hit a couple of weeks ago, and I compared it to back when I wanted my parents to reward me for getting good grades, and they're like, "We send you to school to get good grades, so we're not rewarding you for something that we want you to do." Why, Kate, you and I, and if you really know me and Kyle, and you've been following us for long enough, back to the Global Hoops Official Day, we did an entire video on why Cade Cunningham should be the number 1 pick in the draft. And also, it wasn't like it was that long ago. It was like 4 years ago. It wasn't like he's come back from some devastating injury or anything like that. Like Markelle Fultz, maybe I could understand him being a Most Improved Player had he had a leap like that at any point in his career. But this guy
That's fair.
This guy was the number 1 overall pick 4 years ago. Hasn't even been 4 years since his NBA draft. He is pretty much on the right trajectory towards stardom that we expected him to be on. We compared him to Grant Hill. We compared him to a lot of guys, and I'm super happy for him and what's happening in Detroit. But I'm right there with you on that. And in the spirit of that, the last shout out I will give somebody who people should keep an eye on, Ty Jerome in Cleveland. I don't think anybody expected him to be this effective as a pro. He had moments, bounced around a lot, played for Phoenix, OKC, Golden State, landed in Cleveland last year, shows so much how the right situation, the right coaching staff, and the power of friendship, because we talked about them getting DeAndre Hunter there. He's averaging 12 points per game this season and shooting the cover off of the ball, 44% from 3. The volume isn't that crazy, but some nights the volume is that crazy. So I can very much see, a couple playoff games. Cavaliers need him in a lot of different spots. He's going to be in 6 Man of the Year conversation. So big shout out to him and what they've got going on in Cleveland. Big shout out to you, all of our listeners and everybody who subscribes to us on YouTube at NBA Soundsystem Canada. We're getting close to 100 subscribers. It doesn't sound like a lot, but you can't get to 500 until you get to 100 first. So we appreciate all of you out there who have gotten us to that point. We look forward to celebrating the next milestone when we get there. Then we'll get to 50K like LeBron eventually, and we'll celebrate that as well. Also on Instagram, same handle, NBA Soundsystem Canada. Get these clips from these shows in your feed every week as well.